Hello, this is Miss Fountain channel. Earthquakes, terrorist attacks, plane crashes, floods. Mass disasters strike without warning, leaving behind devastation, confusion, and grief. In these moments, one of the greatest challenges is not just rescue, but recognition. Who are the victims? What are they? And how can shattered families find closure? This is where disaster victim identification becomes one of the most crucial branches of forensic science. Today, we uncover the science, the protocols, the human stories, and the ethical dilemmas of mass disaster victim identification, a field where science meets sorrow and every step is a fight for dignity and truth. What is disaster victim identification? Disaster victim identification is a systematic process of recovering, identifying, and returning victims of mass disasters to their families. These disasters vary. We have natural ones like earthquakes and tsunamis. We have accidental ones like plane crashes. We also have man-made like terrorist attacks. And unlike single crime investigations, disaster victim identification deals with large number of victims, chaotic scenes, and international coordination. And what is the goal of disaster victim identification? The goal is to restore names to the nameless, to give closure to the grieving families, and to uphold dignity in death. Since the stakes are so high, the process is standardized worldwide, following Interpol's disaster victim identification guidelines, which are used by forensic teams across nations. The first one is scene phase, which is where we have recovery. And under this, first responders secure the disaster site. Victims are located, photographed in situ, and carefully tagged. GPS coordinates may be recorded to maintain the exact positioning. Then every item from clothing to jewelry is collected to aid identification. The principle is respect plus preservation of evidence. Bodies and body parts are transported to mortuaries or morgues. The second one is a post-mortem phase, where we have the examination. In the mortuary, forensic pathologists, odontologists, anthropologists, and DNA specialists begin systematic examinations. Each body is assigned a unique disaster victim number. Postmortem data is recorded, that is physical characteristics like height, scars, tattoos, etc. Dental examination, like missing teeth or fillings, or also fingerprints if possible. We also have radiological imaging as well as DNA sampling. And the third one is the antemortem phase, where we have family information. Parallel to postmortem work, teams gather antemortem data from families, that is data of the victims before death. Like now we have dental and medical reports, we have fingerprint records that may be obtained maybe from passports or even employment or criminal databases. We also have photos of tattoos, scars, surgical implants, etc. We also have personal data samples from relatives who could be nuclear or which could be nuclear DNA or empty DNA, depending on the relationship that these relatives have with the victims. And the fourth one is the reconciliation phase, where there is matching. Specialized reconciliation teams compare antemortem and postmortem data, find that only scientifically valid matches are accepted, usually through fingerprints, dental records, or DNA. Visual recognition by families is not considered reliable in large-scale data or disaster due to trauma or even the body condition. Once confirmed, identification is certified and the victim is released to families. Let's look at primary methods of identification. We have three. The first one being fingerprints, which is the fastest and cheapest, and at times it's impossible in decomposed or burned remains. The other one is dental records, which is highly reliable as teeth resist fire and decomposition. The other one is DNA, which is it's a gold standard. Let's look at a case study. We have in the year 2009, Air France flight 447 crashed into the Atlantic. Bodies were recovered weeks later. Identification relied on dental and DNA comparisons. Another one is the Grenfell Tower fire that happened in 2017 in the UK. So there were 72 deaths, and extreme fire damage complicated identifications. Forensic odontologists and DNA played central roles. Each case revealed the strengths and limitations of forensic science under pressure. What are some of the challenges of disaster victim identification? We have decomposition, fragmentation, fire and water damage, which makes it a little bit more difficult to identify the bodies or the remains. Like now, for example, when you're taking fingerprints, it's difficult to get fingerprints from a body who has or from burnt remains. We also have lack of antemortem records, in that we don't have anywhere to or any other data to compare with. We have scale of disaster versus the resources available. That could be human, could be financial, etc. We have ethical and cultural sensitivities. Find that some families demand quick burials, and these ends up clashing with forensic timelines. We also have psychological toll on forensic teams. I find that exposure to mass death requires resilience and mental health support. Now let's look at the future of disaster victim identification. First, we have a rapid DNA technology which identifies within hours. We have 3D facial reconstruction, that is when skulls are intact but DNA is degraded. The third one is isotope analysis, that is narrowing down a victim's geographical origin. We also have AI plus big data, that is automating reconciliation and speeding up victim identification. And what is the goal of this, or the goal of future of DVI? That is for faster, more accurate, and more humane identifications. In the aftermath of disaster, bodies may be broken, but identities must never be lost. Behind every fingerprint, every tooth, every DNA sequence is a human being, a story, a family waiting for answers. Disaster victim identification is not just about science, it's about dignity, closure, and compassion. In the darkest of times, the act of naming the dead is one of the most powerful ways we honor life. Thank you for watching. Kindly share and remember to subscribe for more forensic explorations. See you in our next session.